Yeah, I mean, what do you say about that game? That's doesn't surprise me that that's the battle we had with them. I know we won both times earlier in the season in 4, but that's a really good team, and they've moved some pieces around and found a better lineup for production. But they were prepared, they played well, and they created a lot of pressure from the end line. So a credit to them, and also congratulations to all 4 teams that were here at the Final Four, because the volleyball was amazing. But what it means for us, you know, Kevin and Paul from TV asked me, you know, does this vindicate or anything from the last couple of years? And, you know, I guess it gives me a perfect platform to answer that question now. And that is, it's not vindicating, it's a process. Instead of a lot of praise to these 3 guys, especially that are sitting up here, that went to the Final Four as freshmen and sophomores, and now won it as juniors. It's part of a process. It's growth. It's development. It's maturity. And they deserve it. They played hard. They trained hard. They committed to a process with their teammates. We had 4 new pieces this year besides these 3, and still found a way to do a good job in all areas of the game, and actually even maybe do a better job. So I'm very proud of our guys, of not putting their head down after some failure. It's like any other life lesson. You get some failure, and what are you going to do with it? Our guys decided to have some determination and do something about it. They trained like that every single day from the beginning of the fall all the way through winning the first ever Big West Conference tournament, the Big West Conference regular season championship, the Big West Conference tournament, into the NCAA tournament, and winning the national championship. That's growth, and I'm super proud. That was a gritty performance tonight, as was the one on Thursday night. So I couldn't be more proud or happy for our guys and for the entire Long Beach nation that came out tonight, whether they're former players or they were administrators, our president, our mayor, everybody that was here, all the fans and the parents that was packed in this place. I don't know if it felt like the pyramid, but it certainly didn't feel like an away match. So thank you. Questions for anybody?
TJ, Kyle, Josh, you know, Alan had a chance to talk about, especially Kyle. Alan had a chance to talk about what that meant, you know, to win the national championship. What does that mean for you guys, you know, to have all that stuff around your neck and the hats on, and, you know, gotten to end the season on a win?
I mean, it means the world to us. Looking back on our last 2 years, losing in the semifinals, you know, that's always in the back of our minds. And going into this match, we always had that in the back of our mind. And we really pushed ourselves a lot this match, and we came out on top. And it means the world.
Good. All right, I got a question about Kyle, but not for Kyle. I'll give you a little break. For TJ and Josh, we all know how much you guys have experienced success at the high school level and club level, but what did it take to have the 3rd piece in Kyle, who's taken a pretty big step forward this year? What does it mean to have that another piece that puts you guys over the top?
Yeah, I think having the other piece in Kyle was a sort of a natural fit. As soon as we got to home, we started training. We all had the same goal. Maybe if it wasn't spoken or anything like that, it was definitely in the way we trained and the way we practiced and the way we all competed when it was going good and when it was going bad. And so I think there's nothing, you know, adding a new piece, and there's no obstructions to our flow of any type. Kyle, he's been unbelievable, working hard in the gym and in the weight room and stuff like that. So he's come along a whole long way, just like both of us have, me and Josh. And so it's yeah, I wouldn't really a teammate.
I think one of the coolest things about Kyle is that he's one of the easiest guys to play with. Honestly, I could just throw anything back there and he's kind of flying around doing his thing. So it wasn't so much like we're trying to fit in. It was just like put him out there and let him do his thing. And you know, Kyle this season as well as the past 3 years we've been playing together has taken over games. And some people don't notice that sometimes. But I mean, he's a big force on this team, and if anything, he can step up at any time.
Alan, what do you credit the victory to?
Our guys, and executed, and a lot of grit. And it's all them. And they're the ones out there wearing it and battling and dealing with all the stresses that come into being an athlete in this environment. So 100% our guys did a great job.
Josh, that ace to win the fourth set, and kind of take me through that one, because it wasn't, you brought more heat on serves, but that was sort of kind of a change up to the corner there. Kind of take me through that one and how nice it was to see it go down to get that fifth set.
Yeah, the main focus for me was just like my mechanics, just making sure I wasn't, being small or, trying to be safe. So all of that was just focusing on my mechanics, not so much like taking in the pressure of the loud crowd, thinking about, man, we're gonna miss it, we're gonna miss it. It was just, do what I usually do when I'm back here and do what I've gotten as far. And honestly, when I served that ball and it landed, it was so, I don't know how close it was to the line, but I thought it was out, so I was devastated. So I just do that with the flag, like, oh. Yeah, it was all good from there.
Alan, you talked a lot about the need for this team to be in uncomfortable situations so that they can kind of learn to operate in those uncomfortable situations. Do you feel that all that stuff kind of directly paid off? You guys are down 18-16 in the fourth set, there's a crowd like that, and they're somehow able to kind of gather themselves and fight their way out of that set?
Yeah, there's no way to reproduce that. It's really good. I think our group in the gym does such a good job of giving us as much pressure as they can and creating anxiety as close to game-like as you can possibly create in your own gym. But there's no substitute to going through these moments. And we've had so many opportunities this year to grow and embrace the moment we were in, whether it be our trip to Canada early in the year, our trips to the East Coast, our trips to Chicago, throughout our season, and then ending up in Hawaii with two really good matches against a really good Hawaiian team that went 5 both nights, and we had to deal with the playoff atmosphere there. And I give our guys a ton of credit because those matches for us at the end of the season had no bearing on our seed, had no bearing on anything other than our pride, and Hawaii was playing for a lot. So yeah, I think that we use those moments, and even Thursday night's moment, to go back. We talk about it in our pregame, we talk about different times throughout the match. There's reference moments that we've already been through this before. But I have to give out a lot of credit to my administration and our president for allowing us to grow our sport and to grow our program and allow us to take those trips and invest in our athletes. It's an entire family that allowed this to happen this year.
You all showed a lot of poise, especially towards the end, when it could have gone either way. What kind of mental training are you doing?
Yeah, we spend a lot of time in that aspect of the game. I'm not going to really get into a whole lot of what we do. People can figure that out for themselves. But our guys are pretty tough, and we spend a lot of time in that aspect of the game because this game is a game of failure. Every point ends on an error. It's a matter of your error, their error. And an ace for us is a great point. It's an error for them, just like it is the other way around. You have to deal with moving on to the next play, being present in the current play, and getting out of the last play. And there's a lot of mental training that goes into that. There's a lot of, there's a lot of different approaches to it. But this team is invested into the way we treat it, the way we teach it, the way we talk about it, the way we spend a day a week on it. And they did a great job executing it and using it, and we were able to talk through it in big moments, and I think it really helped, and it helped the staff, and I think it helped the team have something to lean on. But as far as what we do, it's pretty good.
Coach, in a match that is so close, the circumstances to be a big difference. Obviously, Siegfried for you guys put a lot of pressure on them, and conversely, UCLA, Molesky had a couple of service errors. Can you comment on that? Siegfried's
Yeah, Ethan is ice in his veins, man. He hasn't played a ton for us this year. He's served as the year went on. It's more and more of a factor. He really had a breakout trip when he went home to Hawaii, and it was a big factor in our match that we won in 5 there. and just continue to build confidence. He's an incredibly confident kid, and he embraced that role, as did a couple other guys on our role. You know, Louis did a good job serving the night too, and Matt Butler did a good job. But Ethan was the guy that got some separation or got us back into some sets. And for a true freshman into that role in that moment, and we needed every point too. So I'm super proud of him.
Josh, so we kind of asked you this question on the Thursday thing, but so fourth set, 24-all, like the pressure is as high as it can be. Can you talk about your decision to go for it done and like how you felt seeing it, go down again?
Yeah, I mean, I knew I wasn't very offensive, kind of going through the match, and the opportunity was kind of there, so it was either again, like just kind of go for it and hope for the best. So I already did it, and it went down. I was super stoked with my guys. I was super stoked, and just being able to kind of free up in that moment was kind of awesome. It was a good feeling.
TJ, when we talked earlier in the year, I know that all that stuff around your neck is nice and cutting down the nets is nice, but you said how much it would mean for the Long Beach community if you guys would bring this one home. So now that you have brought it home, I mean, how much of an impact do you think it'll make just kind of on Long Beach? You guys traveled well today, obviously.
Yeah, I just wanted to let the fans know, and all the alumni that made the trip up here. I saw tens of, a group of guys that came up with their alumni from the 91 team that were just looking for it, and so they supported all season. And so them, I want to say thank you for all the support, but then also all the fans, all the people that we've accumulated to come and watch our games throughout the season is just. That's one of the reasons we relied on some of that fire that they were bringing for us, because UCLA is a very emotional team. They rely on the crowd as well, and so we kind of needed that little bit of that, and that's the only reason they helped out a lot. And so I want to say thank you to all the community and LB Nation.
All right, saying an undefeated season would have been kind of cool, but can you talk a little bit about the importance of actually losing a match late in the year and what that meant for the team?
Yeah, funny you mentioned that. We were having a talk, I think, in the locker room after we lost in the vibe of the locker room was like, well, it's yes, you learn from a loss, but then there's also a side of that where you can learn from a win. But he said something in the locker room of like, as soon as we do what we need to do and learn from this and take this, you guys won't care about this loss. And so I thought that as soon as and all this stuff happens, that it really. We try to learn as much as we can from the wins and do a loss, but then that loss really kind of slaps us around a bit. It was like, all right, this is the stuff that's glaring in these type of cultures, like a lot of fans and stuff like that. That definitely exposed a lot of stuff we need to work on, and we've definitely improved. And so, yes, we don't care about it, but then yes, we also do. So.
Alan, I saw you get a little bit emotional when you saw some of your 1991 teammates out there. What does that mean to you to see your teammates that you went through this with here to support your team, and how does that kind of connect this little while that it's been between the national championships?
Well, I mean, they're the salt of the earth guys, like these guys who figure out when they're old and bald like me, that these moments they spent with these guys have been the greatest moments of their life. I get to live in this world constantly, year in and year out, so I get to experience it all the time. But that group is really special to me because those are my playing days, and we were able to accomplish some great things and win a national championship. But between that one and this one, it's not like we went dormant. We played in a lot of Final Fours, in between. It hasn't went our way, but there's been teams. There's lots of guys out there that played on teams that we lost in a 5-setter overtime in 04. We played here in this building in 99. We played in 08 in the last 2 Final Fours. All those guys were out there too. I know it's easy to give a lot of credit to the 91 team because they won, but there's probably 150 former players out there. And so a huge hats off to all of those guys and all the guys and all the other teams that are committed to the process of Long Beach State volleyball. This isn't the only game though. They're not front runners. They weren't here tonight, and this was the first time they jumped into the limelight because we were playing in the Final Four. We've had matches this year. We've got over 40 alumni at. We've had events this year. We've over 70 former players at. It's an incredibly special place, an incredible culture that's been created and nourished with a lot of people who care about it. So, yeah, it means the world to me that are here, but it also means the world to me that there were so many other players, former players that were here too, and coaches for that matter.
Josh, after the match settled, Bjorn came over and found you guys, and you guys had a real emotional embrace. And what can you just say about that and how good it felt to get that for him? Seems how it was his last crack at it.
Man, Bjorn is one of the hardest workers I've ever encountered. You know, he does. He does extra training during season. You know, he understands his role on the team, and he thrives in that. And you know, for somebody who's put so much work and to you know, come out on top, man, I was just so stoked for him, because you know, sometimes he gets overlooked, and I was just happy that he was able to, you know, kind of get that ultimate goal that he's wanted for the past 4 years that he's been here. So just it just shows how much love you know, that's circulated through this program, you know.
This question is for Kyle, and after the last ball dropped from point, I saw you and TJ got caught apart from the group of guys celebrating in the middle. What was TJ saying to you, or what did you say to TJ?
I mean, they're supposed to just, I love you, bro. So we did it, you know? Over and over again. We wanted us to embrace stuff, and we won this thing, you know? It's just a good embrace with it.
Couple more questions?
A question for you, Josh. Alan is very deflective in terms of giving all you guys all the credit, the players all the credit. But obviously, the coaches have done a lot to get you guys to this point. Can you comment on not just Coach Knight's impact of the assistant coaches and even the past coaches like Tyler?
Yeah, you know, the coaching staff went above and beyond what a normal coaching staff would do for us. You know, they were constantly there for us whenever we needed them, and it felt like we had all the resources there to succeed in the area. Paul Munoz is an amazing guy. Scott Sudiski is an amazing guy. McKay, that whole group, Coach Knight, just setting up, you know, just great practices for us. You know, setting up the whole entire schedule. I mean, it's tough to kind of explain, because you know, you don't see a whole lot of it as a player, but it's, you know, they absolutely killed it.
TJ, I think it was the fourth set. It looked like you got hit in the side of the head. You were kind of blinking went off for a couple minutes. What happened, and you know, how did you sort of get yourself back into playing for it again? I think it was like right before you were going back to serve too.
Yeah. Well, Nick made a very flamboyant move. I don't know how to explain it, but he very, very expressed. And he elbowed me in the cheek. So he came back.
While he was celebrating?
You know, no, blocking move.
Okay.
You can't see my feet. He was doing something. He tried to do this, and he came down and elbowed me right in the cheek. And so it was just a moment of just like days, like seeing stars. But I mean, at the end of the day, there was nothing that was going to take me off that court. Not a dang thing. But yeah. So.
Last question? Anyone else?
TJ, can you comment on the yellow card? What happened there, and do you think that it was the pivotal point in why you guys won the match?
No, I don't. You know, I think that was just me getting caught up in my own emotions and letting the ref know what I thought he was doing. So that's all that was. And so I got let that get the best of me. But honestly, what it came down to was me realizing that had happened, and then taking it back a step and saying, "Listen, that's not going to win us this game." If I'm going up to every single ref and doing that, it's not going to win us this game. So then I directed it to my teammates.
All right, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up on that. If you have any future further